Pastor Matthew Stuckey here from Verity Baptist Church in the Philippines, and I want to make a quick video giving you some reasons you should consider supporting missionaries. This video is geared toward pastors and church leaders of local churches, and specifically churches that are very well established, because I understand if you're a newer church, if you're not that stable financially, you're probably not in a position to support missionaries. Let me give you three quick reasons. Reason number one, because you can reach new areas with the gospel. I believe that Acts chapter 1, verse 8 teaches us to reach our Jerusalem with the gospel, and eventually all Judea and Samaria, and then eventually to the uttermost part of the earth. Now, the ultimate fulfillment of that in the book of Acts is actually getting churches started, as the persecution leads them to go start churches in Judea and in Samaria, which they were not originally doing until the persecution came. But here's the thing. Most churches are not in a position to get a bunch of different churches started. You don't have men to send to areas. You don't have people that are there waiting for it. And so here's the thing. If you find someone who is a good missionary in another location that you're not going to be reaching, you don't have somebody to send there, you have no plans for it, you could consider supporting them financially, and they do the work and they help you to reach the uttermost part of the earth, even though you're not ready to start a church in that area. So one reason you could consider is reaching new areas with the gospel. Number two, because missionaries can accomplish more than you could accomplish via a missions trip. You might say, well, I can reach these areas via soul winning events and missions trips. I think soul winning events are awesome. I think missions trips are great. We've hosted them before. We do host them. They're awesome. They're exciting. They're great to build up the zeal of the members as you get involved in it. And I think it's great for local churches to spend some of their money financially in investing in missions trips and soul winning events. But you cannot accomplish as much as a missionary could that was there full time, preaching the word of God and bringing people to church. Let me give you some rough numbers. In 2018, we had a missions trip with about 100 people that were here as part of it. If you think the average ticket price, let's say, is $1,000, and let's say with hotel and food and just basic entertainment, another $500, you're looking at $1,500 per person. Maybe that's a bit high. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's a bit lower. Let's say $1,500 times 100 people, $150,000 was invested into that missions trip to get about 2,000 salvations. You cannot put a price on a human soul, but what we're looking at is $7.50 per person. Okay. Now, I realize this is not a perfect correlation, because mission trips certainly have their value to help get people excited, and then they go back more zealous to do the work. But as a church last year, we had more than 10,000 salvations, so more than 5 times as many. And I don't have the exact numbers of our tithes that came in, but it was nowhere near $150,000. When you include money that came in overseas, money from our members, and it's nowhere near that, but we had a lot more salvations. You say, why? Because when you're living in a receptive area every single day, and you got members of the church that are going soul winning regularly throughout the week, and you're having soul winning events in those areas, you're able to accomplish more. And so I think there is a balance that needs to be struck. But if you are blessed financially as a church, consider investing some of that into soul winning events, some of that into mission trips, and some of it into people that are actually doing the work in other locations. Number one, because you can reach new areas with the gospel. Number two, because missionaries can accomplish more than you can accomplish via a soul winning event or a missions trip. And number three, because quite simply, other countries are not as blessed financially as countries like the US, Europe, Australia, and other countries. When you think of countries and churches that are doing well enough financially to invest financially into someone doing the work, you're looking at people that are a part of a lot of those countries that I mentioned. And of course, we realize that there are countries around the world where people are very much struggling to survive. I look at a lot of people that live in the Philippines, and with their salaries, I don't know how they make it. I mean, it's very difficult. I don't live an extravagant life by any stretch of the imagination, but I look at other people, I'm thinking, man, I don't know how they make it. I mean, it's very difficult. And, it is a real struggle in countries such as here, and then other countries in the world, just on a day-to-day, just trying to make it in life. And so if you're part of a country or part of a church that has really been blessed financially, consider using some of that money to invest in other people and other churches that maybe that money could go a long way to help them do more work in the country that they're at. And so 3 quick reasons why you should consider investing in missionaries. Number 1, because you can reach new areas with the gospel. Number 2, because missionaries can accomplish more in those areas than you can via a missions trip or soul winning event. Number 3, because other countries and other churches are not as blessed financially as you might be. Thank you, and God bless.